Good evening, good morning, good night to whoever watching this transmission. Tis I, Mike Martins. Thanks for joining me. I got some pretty good, interesting articles that I think you guys need to hear. We got ourselves in a bit of a pickle, and we're forecasting mass layoffs coming ahead with the housing crisis starting to bottom out. Still quite a bit to go before it completely bottoms out. We're looking anywhere from 2 to 3 years, 15 quarters, 14 quarters of retraction on prices before they come down to earth. And now, mass layoffs. Everyone's tapped out. No one's got money. No one's got two nickels to rub together. And we got ourselves a bit of a problem here now with consumer confidence dropping like a rock. Consumer confidence hasn't been this low since 1975. So we're in a big world of hurt. And what's going on in the Commonwealth? After 1.7 million loss, Big Rock Brewery announces layoffs, blaming Alberta's beer tax system. Again, taxation is shutting down. Property taxes are shutting down corporations and companies and manufacturing companies that have been in these cities for many years. And guess what? They can't afford to stay in business anymore. The property tax is too high. So Big Rock is laying off quite a few people, actually. And they are blaming the government for this beer tax and all this extra taxation and embargoes, and Big Rock Brewery. The company added, if no changes are made to the Alberta tax beer production, it expects its net provincial liquor charges to increase from 10.7 million in 2018, greater than 21 million for the fiscal 2019. So that's a lot of. They're instituting a flat markup rate of $1.25 a liter on all beer. That's a lot of tax. Holy crap. So they're just going to lay off a bunch of people, and that's what they're going to have to do. They're losing too much money. So, and it's really good beer too, Big Rock Brewery. So that's one. Let's move on. Mill workers facing layoffs as shift reduced at Aspen Planners. So this is from Merritt. This is from my area, my neck of the woods. This is by my house here. 50 employees will be laid off at Aspen Planners, Sawmill, and Merritt after the company announced plans to move to a single shift per day schedule. And I talked to a couple of guys that do work there, and they told me that a couple of times they do this every couple of years when it slows down, or when soft lumber or wood on its own starts going down in the markets and there's demand goes down. That usually happens. And because China's cutting back on importing from Canada, it's going to be a bumpy ride for the lumber market. Toronto high school teachers brace for layoffs after receiving a bumping memo. Again, Eastern Canada, Toronto, in a little bit of a pickle where teacher cuts. And they're going to be laying off more teachers. Despite projected increase in enrollment attrition, funding from provincial government, Toronto high school teachers are bracing for layoffs. A memo of the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation, teachers obtained by city news outlines bumping process that could result in some teachers being declared surplus on the board. So what are they doing? Remember, guys, teachers are public sector, so they're funded by the private sector, taxpayers, and this is a way that they're going to have to start restructuring these cities by basically laying off more public sector workers. And what is this? I am not paying $7 to read this article. Painful change, spec layoffs. All right, I'm not paying for that. Go to hell. All right, Lenovo Layoffs, 500 job cuts, data center group, and other units. So where's this? I think this is in Ireland. Lenovo confirmed that it's laying off roughly 500 people. A move will impact its data center group and other businesses units as the Hong Kong-based company archives record revenue. Sorry, I think it's a Hong Kong-based. They're globally. They have 5,000 employees right now, and it's impacting 500 positions in the U.S. and 57,000 globally. That's what I thought. Yeah, okay. While these actions aren't easy, they are necessary, and we we continue to execute our strategy for intelligent transformation while achieving sustainable, profitable growth. And you know what? It's all automation that's going to start taking over, and robots. Yeah, and they got a Fort Lauderdale solution provider down there. A lot of people are going to be getting hit, and increasing in taxes. The increase in tax right now, especially in the U.S. Not the U.S. It's some headquarters in the U.S. are going to be hit hard, and especially with the amount of taxes right now in Hong Kong. It's crazy. Okay, bigger cuts expected. 23,000 more Ford layoffs needed, analyst says. That's a lot of cake. That's a lot of people. 23,000 Ford layoffs. Analyst Adam Jones of Morgan Stanley is among those who say Ford Motor Company cannot reach its stated profit goals from the smart redesign sold by laying off 7,000 salaried workers. 23,000 salary jobs are going to be cut. Guys, this ain't a joke. This is the real deal. When you're losing that much private sector workers, the public sector needs to hack back workers because they can't afford to pay all these people in the public sector. Remember, private, public. Private basically supports the public sector. Your garbage, your teachers, your doctors, whatever. And if you're not on socialized medicine, it depends what country you're in. So they need 22,000 cuts if they want to make this thing work. Why? And also remember the grim future that Ford faces with the amount of consumer confidence going down, and it's not looking good right now. Mass layoffs for Ford. Telstra to expedite restructuring efforts. The telco aiming to complete 75% of its workforce role reduction. Telecoms group Telstra fast-track restructuring efforts 6 months earlier and originally planned. The company issued fresh guidance on the T22 program for downsizing business. Telstra said it will push through 6,000 of the 9,500 job cuts. Wow, 6,000 job cuts. I think this is in Ireland too. No, this one's in Ireland, I think. This is one of the Irish ones I pulled up here. And that's a big company. I think I'm right. No, this is Australia. Sorry, Australia. I'm sorry. This is the Australia, the Telstra. That's a lot of jobs. That's a lot of workforce reduction. 75% of workforce rule reduction. So a lot of countries are going to be restructuring in the next 2 years. BuzzFeed loses 11 staff in Australia, aimed global job cuts. Yeah, I think nobody cares about that. I think isn't BuzzFeed one of those things that you forget about, like yesterday's trash? I'm not too sure if that's the one that's super leftist agenda. I don't know. So, warehouse workers suicidal following mass job cut announcement, First Union says. Where's First Union? That's in New Zealand. Sorry, guys. New Zealand. Staff facing layoffs, the warehouse are suicidal, and in a bad way, following the country's largest retailer's plan to overhaul the way it operates according to a union. So you're going to start seeing restructuring, and it's not good. The warehouse said hours have been reduced in some instances, but there were no cases of individuals receiving 0 or standalone 1 or 2 or 3 hour shifts. So First Union was worried the pilot program would be rolled out on a wider than 8 stores, he said. We acknowledge the change can be difficult, and we always do our best to ensure team members are fully supported. So this is it's all over the Commonwealth. You're gonna start seeing consumer confidence is down. People jumped into homes they couldn't afford, and they're in these predicaments right now. Fortnite effect strikes again. Activision to lay off 800 workers. So tech workers, graphic designers, music curator, guys, people in this Epic Games and stuff, they're in a bit of a pickle right now. Video game maker Activision Blizzard is laying off nearly 800 workers as the company braces for a steep downturn in revenue following the best year in its history. The cutbacks announced on Tuesday illustrate the boom and bust cycles in an industry whose fortunes are tied to video games. that can have relatively short lives before players move on to the next craze. That's happening right now. And that's a big problem. And especially like parts of California where people are paying $6,000, $7,000 a month for mortgages, they're in a bit of a pickle too. The Star, where's this? Jamie Oliver's UK restaurant chains are headed for insolvency. It's from last week. Jamie Oliver restaurant chain to begin insolvency procedures, leaving 1,300 jobs at risk after failing to turn around its performance. The UK Celebrity Chefs company filed notice in the High Court for administration, a process similar to Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the U.S. The proceedings involved 25 of Jamie's Italian Barbacoa Steakhouse and 15 eateries in the UK, but not the international division. So what's happening is, again, it's not. I don't think it's his fault. I think the food might be great. I think everything's cool and all, but people just don't have two nickels to rub together. British deals. French workers fear. Fear layoffs after collapse. So British Steel in a bit of a pickle too. French officials were under pressure Thursday to save their jobs of hundreds of French steel workers at factories facing an uncertain future after the collapse of British Steel, whose assets will be sold to pay off its debt. Oh, that's horrible. Who's going to build those cruise ships? What? Well, no one's got money to go on a cruise. We knew something was wrong, but not that a situation that as catastrophic as this. It is like a gunshot. A union representative of British Steel's plant in the northeast of France. So British Steel's in a little bit of trouble right now. And it's got to pay its debts. It's going to have to start selling off its machinery. And, oh, wait, we'll just get the Chinese to come in and buy it out. But then they won't hire any of these workers. That's the problem. Let's move on. Game workers unite, taking action against Blizzard. Again, game workers are going against this. They're just this whole new wave of working. There's no stability anymore. Even if you're good at what you do, it's all contract work. They shuffle you around like you're nothing. And when they need you, they contract you for a short term. And that's it. There's no stability in these things. World's socialist websites. Thousands of jobs threatened and Bombardier plant in Belfast and Casablanca. Thousands of aerospace workers' jobs threatened following Canadian Aerospace and Transportation Transitional Bombardier decision to sell off its wing-making operation in Belfast, Ireland, Northern Ireland. 4 sites: Belfast, Newtownarby, Dunmurry, and Newtownards currently employ 3,600 workers. Bombardier has owned facilities in Northern Ireland since 1989, when the company took over the historic Belfast-based Shorts Brothers. The company Macron plant, employing 400 workers in the Mid-Park Free Economic Zone in Casablanca, is also for sale. Yeah, we're headed to tough times, guys. Why Fiat and Chrysler-Renault merger proposal is more shotgun wedding than a fairy tale romance. Again, companies restructuring, companies allocating together, companies merging. It's something that's going to have to happen. We're headed towards mass layoffs, and it's gonna bite the big one. And I hope people are prepared. I hope people have water, some water in storage. Have some water, food, dry food in storage, a portable gas stove, like a portable gas stove that you could replace those little bottles. Yeah, there's a lot of things, it's going to get desperate. We're going to hit for desperate times. And, I pray for everybody. I pray that everyone does well. I hope this is just a flash in the pan. I hope I'm just ringing the alarm. I just want people to kind of come together and understand there is a solution for everything. Nothing's impossible. So Mass layoffs ahead in the Commonwealth. It's happening everywhere. Whether you're in the tech industry, whether you're in the trade work, building homes, whether you're a mechanic, people don't have money to fix their car. Hey, I don't have the job to go to anymore, so I don't need my car fixed. It's getting bad. I don't want to doom and gloom it. I don't want to be fear porn, but we need to start finding solutions. These companies are saying, look, we're going to have to cut some of the fat off. Sorry. But what's going to happen on the flip side, it's going to cripple the public sector. Once these private sector jobs go out the window, you're going to have less teachers, less nurses, less garbage men, less mailmen. It's going to be tough for these city surpluses to flip their bills. They're just going to raise property taxes, and they're going to go after the middle class and the working poor like they usually do. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you'd like this transmission, please go ahead and share this video or share any one of my videos, and hopefully we could work together as a team to solve these problems. It all starts with an idea. Comment below. I'll be looking forward to reading your comments. Thanks for watching.